Hi, everybody. Welcome again to another wacky episode of Blind Date with a Book. Tonight, we're doing Blind Date with a young adult book. So this is going to be tons of fun. We've got some new authors in the room. We've got some veteran authors in the room. We're going to have a good time. We already started having a good time in the green room before we started recording. So we're just going to continue having a good time, and you can eavesdrop. It'll be fun. Okay. So let's start out with, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to do this thing. Here we are, Blind Date with a Book. What's the title? We're not going to tell you, because what fun is a blind date if you know who you're dating, right? Who's the author? Well, I'll tell you who the authors are tonight. Carol Tribeth is here. Deborah Reed is here. Who else is in the room? Jennifer Wilcock is here, and Kenneth Powers Jr. is here. They are all four going to read for you tonight. They're going to give you just 5 minutes of a snippet of their book. And then after that 5 minutes, we're going to move to the next author. And it's just going to be, speed dating for books. That's what this is all about. While we are moving on to the next little bit of wacky news, if you could all pretty please fill out this little poll. This helps us in our marketing reach. It tells me where you came from and where you might be coming from next. Authors, if you please fill this out as well, I would appreciate it. While you're doing that, I'd like to remind you all that we have a pop-up book shop on our website. This is not direct sales. It's me connecting you directly with authors, and they're handling all the sales because I'm not interested in doing that much math. So you can go to the website, you can connect directly with the authors, just click on the cover of their book and you'll go right to their buy page. If you'd like to connect with the authors and get one of our snazzy book plates, you can order those directly from the authors by clicking on their name, which will take you to either the contact page of their website or their email address. Thank you, everybody, for filling out the poll. I really appreciate that. And now, Sir Andrew, would you like to do the honors of the workshop announcements for us, please?
Well, first of all, if you weren't at Kate's, it's time to download it. Kate gave us a fantastic overview back on the 11th of social media and more tips than you can count. Download it for just $5 right now. If you attended, great, but downloading it's going to be worth it, and having access to that information for a long time will help you get a lot of sales if you're authors. Just jump in and download it. The link is on Pages Promotions. But coming tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Why, yes.
It is tomorrow, yeah.
Coming tomorrow, we have Michael D. Jones that's going to give us a great mini workshop, Strange Love, How I Learned to Embrace Contemporary Poetry as a Non-Academic. And well, we're going to get into poetry and have a lot of fun with it that a lot of people just, don't appreciate as much as they should. They will after this. Then coming up on the 17th, we're going to have author Christopher Garrett that's going to give us Poking the Comedic Derriere, writing comedy. And I expect to laugh, cry, laugh some more, giggle, and laugh even more. Everybody come, get ready to laugh, get ready to learn, and get ready to enjoy your time. On February 18th, our own Julianne and Xander. Hi, Julianne and Xander. I know that you're out there. I know Xander is. They're going to be doing backward and forwards using history and fiction. And a lot of people like to use history, and hey, you're going to learn how to do it the right way. It's going to be great. You're going to have a lot of fun. On the 20th, one that I'm really looking forward to, author and filmmaker Andy Lockwood is going to be giving us from storyboard to YouTube, crafting book trailers for authors. If you don't have a book trailer, this is going to be your opportunity to learn how to do it and do it right, because Andy is incredibly talented, not only as an author, but as a filmmaker, and we're going to walk away learning more than a little. And last and definitely not least, On the 24th, you can hang around with me, keeping your readers up at night, building suspense into your writing. And last night I went over all of my presentation again and the paper that I'm going to be giving everybody, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to teach you how to slowly prod your audience into becoming more and more worked up, waiting for the next page to turn until everything becomes just clearly evident and it's a crescendo of fun. We're going to have a great time. All of these are just $2 cheap at 10 times the price. I feel that Kate's was worth at least $25 to $30, and hopefully all of them will be full of so much information.
Yeah, I saw a preview of Xander's and Julianne's presentation today, and you guys are going to be blown away by this history presentation. It's incredible. So you guys are going to have a great time. So make sure you come back and join us for those. Everybody who joins us for a workshop will get not only all of that information for just $2, but you'll get a free download of the event. Everybody else who can't make it, you can download it direct from our website for just $5. And it's super inexpensive for the amount of information we're going to be conveying to you.
I have to add one little extra thing.
Yes, sir.
If you show up for mine on the 24th, everybody will walk away with something fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, because I'm going to be premiering something and giving it away that night just to the people who attend.
Like you haven't done enough already. Oh my gosh, you're just the biggest hearted soul on the planet. Thank you very much.
It'll be so exciting.
I am super excited because I want to finish my suspense novel, and you're going to help me do that. So I'm super excited about it. Okay, let's get tonight's event rolling. We are going to hear from 4 spectacular authors. Let me show you what the books are. Well, let me show you a little bit of what the books are. Here's our teasers. These are our book covers, and they're hiding a little bit in shadow. We're going to have each of our authors read, as I said, a 5-minute snippet. And then after all of them are done, we will reveal who the authors are with what books. And you guys get to guess. We get to play the guessing game. You don't get a prize if you win the guessing game, but you do get bragging rights, which I know Diana Duell has been taking considerable advantage of on Facebook. So that's awesome. All right, here we go. Let's get back to our happy author faces. And tonight, we're going to start, just because I love Canada, with Jennifer Wilcock. She's coming to us all the way from Ontario, correct, Jennifer?
Yep, Kitchener.
I am so happy that we have international authors with us. I'm just thrilled that you guys are joining us, and we're having a blast with this. So if you are ready, Miss Jennifer, your time begins now.
A draft of cool air blew through the backstage area, and Coco rubbed her hands up and down her arms, trying to chase away the chill. Bits of rosin floated in the streams of lights, and the smell of sweat was the perfume du jour. Stage hands worked silently to ensure props were where they were supposed to be. Coco peered out from behind one of the larger pieces to the stage beyond. The Corps de Ballet of New York Jeté Dance Company glided through their steps. She waited for the music to cue her. The butterflies she thought she'd caged flitted to life in her stomach. She breathed deeply in through her nose and out through her mouth several times, absently scratching at the itchy material of the costume that sat snug against her body. The material was stiff and hard like cardboard. She smoothed her sweating palms over the picky sequins and down to the tulle of their tutu. I hope I don't look as freaked out as I feel. Coco took another deep breath, her eyes never leaving the dancers on stage. Then she peered out toward the audience. The stage lights hid the people watching, but Coco imagined them into place. They'd been leaning forward in their seats, eyes glued to the dancers as they floated through their steps. Were there any future ballet dancers out there, enchanted by the whole experience? I remember being that girl. It changed my life. A thrill shot through Coco at the thought of making a difference in someone else's life. The music swelled, filling every breath of air in the theater. Coco moved into position along stage right. She mimicked the core in tiny movements, feeling the music, the rhythm, readying herself for her entrance. The floor was hard beneath her shoes as she danced on the spot. And then the music summoned her on stage. Breaking free from the backstage, a smile lit up her face. The spotlight zeroed in on her, blocking out the audience. Coco's feet moved quickly and deftly through the pas de chats and glissades. She flew through her grand jetés, commanding her body to stretch deeper and leap higher. Her partner entered from stage left, waiting for Coco to pirouette over to him. His hands were warm as they slid around her waist and lifted her high. His muscles tightened as he held her and then released her down onto the solid stage. She danced around him, smiling, cajoling. I love this. Too soon, she exited off the stage with small, quick steps. In the blinding rush of adrenaline and joy, she missed spotting the stagehand on his knees, pulling at something until it was too late. She tripped over him, her body falling forward while her legs stayed behind, her foot caught under him. Something snapped in her knee as she vaulted over the guy's back and crashed to the floor. The music swallowed up the sound of her hitting the hardwood floor, and Coco lay in a heap, gasping, trying to catch her breath. What just happened? Her confused brain tried to process why she was lying on the floor. She gingerly sat up. Sharp pain ripped through her knee and shot up her thigh. Then it was gone. She moved her leg. Nothing appeared to be broken. People rushed to her side, including the artistic director of the company, Walter Collins, who had been watching backstage. Coco, are you okay? Please tell me you're not hurt. The man's blue eyes were wide with panic, and his face had paled to the shade of pastry dough. He ran his fingers through his hair as he knelt beside her. She shook her head. I think I'm okay, Walter. Just help me up. Walter glared at the stagehand, who wasn't looking so good himself. The man held up both hands. I'm so sorry. There was a nail loose and the piece of board was sticking up. I was trying to get it out of the way so no one would get hurt. He hung his head. It's okay. Accidents happen. Coco smiled shakily at him. The room had stopped spinning, so she motioned to Walter to assist her. The director carefully helped Coco stand. She managed one step before crumpling back down in a heap. Oh my gosh, that hurts. Get Christy ready to take Coco's place. She's done for tonight. And get the doctor up here, now. The artistic director snapped at one of the gophers, who scurried away. Someone handed Walter a blanket and he draped it around her shoulders. Don't move, Coco. A different stagehand handed her an ice pack and she pressed it to her tights with shaking fingers. The coolness soothed her knee. Don't think, don't think, don't think. The word injury did not exist in her world. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. It's just a little strain. Coco wasn't about to let anything threaten the dream she had worked so hard and sacrificed everything for over the last decade, especially not some freak accident. No way. She bit down hard on her lip, barely breathing. The dancers on stage continued to twirl and leap. Coco's eyes filled and she swallowed. I am not weak. I won't cry. But she couldn't stop the tear that escaped, rolling down her cheek and onto the stiff fabric of her costume. Help was on its way. She shut her eyes. This isn't happening.
Well done. 11 seconds remaining. Good job. Yay! All right, awesome. We are going on to our next author. We'll do Q&A after all of the readings are done. So if you have questions, make sure you put them in the chat and Kate will help me field those. So next up, we have Ken. Are you ready to read, Sir Kenneth? You have to turn your mic on. There you go. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'll sit there.
And your time starts now.
Okay. The next morning, I found my way home to that place I hated, the principal's office. It felt funny coming to the school in the middle of the day. As I walked to the principal's office with Mom, everyone kept staring at me like I was some kind of freak. I stared back, and I think most of them got the message. As we went into Mr. Tolliver's office for the 100th time, I got myself ready for the typical scene. My mom was going to tell Ms. Tolliver how she apologized for my behavior and how it would never happen again. She was going to strong-arm me into an apology for beating the crap out of Antoine and make me promise to control myself. Then Ms. Tolliver would look at me for some long time and tell me that I could come back a day or two. That's how it usually happened, but I was in for a surprise this time. We had walked into the office. I saw a new lady sitting across from Mr. Tolliver's desk. She seemed a little bit younger than Mom and Mr. Tolliver. She had a pretty face and she seemed upbeat. Miss Owens and Steve, how are you doing today? Mr. Tolliver asked. I asked our new social worker, Ms. Alexander, to join us. Ms. Alexander meet Mrs. Owens and her son, Stephen Owens. She shook our hands firmly and smiled while greeting us. I wasn't used to this because most of the school staff just looked at us with a frown or blank expression, so you could never tell what they were thinking about. Before I could sit down, I was already wondering what this was all about. Why was this cute, this looking lady here? But you came in, Miss Owens, Miss Oliver said, and we will not keep you long this time. Mr. Tolliver could be cool sometimes. Like the time we had school sleepover, he played video games with him. He stayed there the whole time. I principals who show us that adults can have fun too. He didn't really seem to be in a fun mood now because he told my mom, "We're concerned about your son's behavior. He has been suspended from school for fighting 4 times this month. And let's not count 12 times he has fought this year. Usually the other child ends up being hurt." Ms. Tolliver, my husband and I do not condone violent behavior in our home. And we talked to Stephen about this, but my son says he's become being bullied because of a speech problem. What is the school doing about that, Mom asked. Mom could be very direct when she thought someone was treating us unfairly. She has even shown her feisty side in church. I remember the time when pastor's kids were talking about Angel because she used to be cross-eyed. Mom confronted the pastor, his wife, and the kids. After this happened, we didn't go to church for almost a month until the pastor finally apologized to Angel. Bullying is a problem in our school, and we're working on it, Mr. Tolliver said, with a real serious look, as he rubbed his hand over his slick bald head. But we with your son too. My son's tired of it all, Mom said. She started to cry. Her tears surprised me. Ms. Owens, I'm going to be providing services so our building can continue to be a thriving school, Ms. Alexander said. You mentioned before your son has a speech problem. Yes, he's been studying for ever since he came to us 3 years ago. So he's in foster care, she said. No, he's adopted. We adopted him when he was 5. So he's adopted and has a speech problem, she said, thinking. I started seeing him. A lot of students in our school have issues. That's why our school has been in need of a social worker. I can put him on my schedule as soon as possible. Is that okay with you? I'm open to anything that at this point, Mom said. I'm tired of him getting in trouble. He's got too much potential for all that. I always hated when Mom started talking about my problems. Sometimes I talk like everyone else, but other times it's hard to get the words out. It feels like sometimes even on words that have the S or T sound. I wish Mom had never brought this up. Now I see this lady every week and talk about why I couldn't get these stupid words to come out. Thanks a lot, Mom. After dealing with Mom and the social worker, I found myself looking forward to church. This is, I'm beyond my years because I understand and appreciate what goes on during the service. Ever since I started playing a keyboard there, church began to make more sense to me. My dad taught me everything I know about how to play the keyboard. He began giving me lessons right after I got adopted, and it seems hard for me to learn.
Okay, your 5 minutes is up. Yay, thank you very, very much. Appreciate you coming back and joining us again, Ken. That was awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Deborah, are you ready?
I am.
Of course. Your time begins now.
The seconds ticked by in my head, and the muscles in my neck and shoulders pulled tighter as each one passed. Bracken could show up any minute. This was taking too long. Snatching the 3 packs from the floor, I jogged toward the back door. Then I was back out in the night, Levi springing from the bushes to latch his arms around my waist. Come on, let's go, I whispered. Where are we going? Levi asked, almost running to keep up with me. I forced myself to slow my stride. The feelings of needing to get out of there hounded me relentlessly. I wanted as much space between us and the house as possible. I don't know, I finally said. Where could we go? None of our neighbors would take us in. They all knew Bracken's temper and penchant for using his fists first. There was no way they would get involved. Frantically, I tried to think of places you read about in books or see on TV as shelters. Churches? You always heard about people going into churches and finding help. My pulse quickened as the thought took hold. Grabbing Levi's hand, I tried to ignore how cold it was and that I had forgotten hats and gloves in my crazy run through the house. This way, I said, turning down Howard Street. I thought there was a church at the end of the street where it meant Lincoln Drive. I just wasn't sure. It's not like our family ever darkened the door of a church. Relief slammed through me as a large parking lot lit brightly with tall lights came into view. It wasn't a huge church, but we didn't need a large place. Just a corner to curl up in and sleep while I tried to figure out what to do next. We're gonna sleep here? Levi asked, hopping a couple steps as I quickened my pace without thinking. I hope so, I responded, making a beeline for the door. The windows inside were dark, but I pulled on the door handle anyway. It didn't budge. I yanked again, harder. Nothing. My heart fell somewhere down near my feet. In all the movies and books, every time someone went to a church, the doors were unlocked, no matter the day or time. Summer, I'm cold. So am I said shortly, then felt bad for snapping at Levi. This wasn't his fault. I sighed. Come on, we'll find somewhere else. Where? I didn't answer. I had no idea. As I looked around at the dark buildings, I began to realize how late it was. Levi was rubbing his eyes beside me, mouth gaping in a huge yawn. It made me yawn too. Exhaustion crashed over me and I realized we needed to stop. Somewhere. Anywhere. Taking Levi's cold hand in mine once again, I walked north. A few blocks over there was a bike path. I led us down it, Levi quiet and shuffling beside me. Either he knew where we were going or he was too tired to care. After several minutes, I saw the concrete post that held up Kingsley Road. Tugging on Levi's hand, we climbed off the path and through the ditch until we got to where the posts met a concrete wall that slanted upward until it reached the road. Levi stopped abruptly, Superman pressed under his chin. We can't sleep outside. It's too cold. I wanted to snap at him, to yell that there wasn't anywhere else to go, that I was doing my best, and would he just shut up? But I couldn't do it. Instead, I forced a smile and beckoned him into the crevice where the post and slanted wall met. Come on, it will be fun, like a camp out. The false note of cheerfulness made even me cringe, but I only had so much more in me. The adrenaline had left. I was running on fumes. Levi trudged toward me with a look of disbelief, but I was just thankful that he did what I asked. Making sure our jackets were zipped tight and the hoods up over our heads, I settled into the crevice, back against the post, feet pointed up the wall. To say I was uncomfortable was an understatement, but there wasn't any other option. Putting my arm around Levi, I pulled my brother close. Put your head in my lap, I instructed, then covered him with both blankets and stacked the backpacks around him for extra warmth. What about you? Levi asked sleepily, pulling on a corner of a blanket. I've got you to keep me warm, Gump, I responded lightly, though the cold was already seeping through my coat and jeans, my body going numb from the cold. Tucking my hands under the edge of the blanket, I breathed out heavily and prayed we'd make it through the night. I wasn't sure how cold it was, but it felt like the middle of winter, even though it was only the beginning of October. Leaning my head back against the concrete, I stared up at more concrete and metal above me. The control I had tried so hard to keep intact for Levi's sake cracked, then broke apart completely. Swallowing back a sob, I felt warmth on my cheeks and realized I was crying. Mom was in the hospital and would be for a while. Bracken was out for blood, and Levi and I no longer had a home. We were literally sleeping in the gutter with only a handful of change in my pocket after buying snacks at the hospital cafeteria. Not only did I have to find a way to survive, I had to protect my brother too. There was just one problem. I had no idea how I was supposed to do that.
Yay! Guess what, Deborah? 2 seconds remaining. That was cutting it close.
I tried that over and over and over.
I know the night I did my reading, I think I practiced it for like an hour beforehand. It was crazy. Okay, that means Carol will be our final reader for tonight. Miss Carol, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, your time begins now.
There are storms here in Maryland, big racer storms, and when it happens, the sky turns a sick yellow. The winds uproot trees, exposing their white roots. On a rainy gray morning, I saw my big sister chained and sold south. I still recall Lindy's frightened and helpless face as she turned to look at my brother Lou and I for the last time. It was a forever goodbye because the word South carried the sound of doom. The deep South meant cruelty. The deep South meant early death. A few months earlier, my sister said, Cece, I'm going to show you something, but you've got to promise never to tell anyone or we'll all get whooped or worse. You know, they learn from books in the master's house and I watch them over my shoulder. I ain't supposed to know words, but I listen good and I'm going to show you letters. Behind our cabinet desk, Lindy daily scratched words with a stick in the dirt. She taught me letters and I started walking and talking proud like I was reading right off a paper. But it happened that I left the words sea, water, run outside by the side of our cabin one night. I didn't remember to brush the dirt clean, and I forgot about the master forbidding the slaves from learning to read and write. The next morning, I was gathering eggs in the chicken coop when I heard the screaming, and I heard my sister yelling, I did it, I made those words. The overseer had her by the hair and was dragging her toward the master's house. I ran to tell the overseer it was me that wrote down those words. I heard the crack of the whip and I knew Lindy was getting hit. I started running. Out back by the main house, by the cook's summer kitchen, I saw the overseer and the master. I saw blood dripping down my sister's face and arms, and I tried to open my mouth, but fear squeezed my voice so tight that nothing came out. And I wanted to say it was me that wrote them words. But my sister looked once at me with a warning look shot straight from her brown eyes that always meant not now. It's time to sell this one, the master said. We don't want anyone else thinking they can learn to read and write around here. This one will be gone tomorrow. Gone? Gone? That word echoed in my head, but my sister was to be sold. The end came the next day as Lindy was let off in chains, just like it happened to my ma and pa a long time ago. And I watched from the top of the fence, weeping till she was hidden from my sight forever. I felt a hopeless grief in my soul, and that was the start of my uprooting. I knew I had to find a way to escape the plantation before my brother Lou and I shared the same fate. Lou whispered the unthinkable first. Cece, it's time for us to run away. I've heard there's freedom in the north, and I heard that a slave escaped from the Brodus plantation just a few miles from here to a place called Pennsylvania. There's talk now that she came back last December and took with her a few slaves to safety on some underground railroad. I want to make my way to that train and get on board, and I want to do this as soon as we can find that conductor. I looked at Lou with my mouth wide open and said, Lou, I know you know that if we get caught, they'd beat us with the whip, they'd brand us with the runaway R and sell us south. It would make your hair stand on end, knowing what they would do to us. But I'm glad you said it first because I know we got to do this. I know someone who said that if I ever needed help about escaping to let her know. She said she would tell me where to meet. She's been saying there soon would be a way out and I'm going to let her know we're ready. The news travels fast, and before I knew it, my brother and I were gathering food and few belongings. We were on our way to meet the conductor. They told us she had a price on her head, dead or alive. The meeting place was miles away from the plantation at the edge of the Greenbrier swamp. Lou and I left after dark on Saturday night. No one worked on Sunday, and no one would miss us till Monday morning. The slave catchers and bloodhounds would be out after that. My body shook so bad I could barely walk straight. And I tried to speak, but nothing came out, just thinking about what I was doing. I found the meeting place and we saw folks gathered under a giant cypress tree. And there in the center was a woman scarcely 5 feet tall with woolly hair. She was holding a staff and carried a canteen and a haversack. And she called out, "Are you Cecilia?" "Yes, ma'am. That's me, but they call me Cece. This is my brother Lou." Then out of her pocket, the conductor flashed a revolver. She continued, "There will be no turning back now, and if you are not strong enough to make the trek, you won't be strong enough to keep from telling the overseer when he starts whipping you about what you're doing here. If you change your mind, I will use this, and you will never take another step." It's several hundred miles to freedom. We'll be traveling by night, staying off the main roads and resting by day. Along the way, there will be stations where kindly folks, Quakers, whites, and free black men will be risking their lives and property for you. Slave catchers with guns will be patrolling trails and searching buildings along the way. So just do as I say. Follow me.
Well done. Right on exactly 5 minutes. Good job.
Thank you.
Yay! My gosh, I'm having so much fun this month. I get to find out about so many really cool books. The diversity of your stories is incredible. incredible. I think they're all strong and poignant and important. And I'm sincerely impressed with all of your writing acumen. I mean, I'm blown away, completely blown away.
Serious
Alrighty.
talent in the room tonight, for sure.
Holy moly. Okay. It's a good thing we've only got 4, because I don't know if my imagination can handle more than that. I just can't. Okay. I'm going to show you the screen again so that everybody can make a guess about who is where, who is what, who wrote what. I'm going to give you the poll, and there we go, launching that poll right now. Everybody gets to guess who wrote what book. Take a look at the covers and go ahead and vote. And while we're doing this, I'd like to ask you, Carol, no, let's not do that yet, because we'll give it away if I do what I was just going to do. And
You got it, because I got quite a story.
wouldn't I be just
Background.
a dolt? I would be a dolt if I started
is
that.
heart-wrenching.
We're going to wait until everybody votes. And then once everybody votes, we're going to start asking our questions and getting backstage story, because that I'm super intrigued about all of these. Okay. Andrew, where are your maracas? We need your maracas.
Right here.
There you go.
I thought this would be more like a.
Oh yeah, that would be good too.
Jeopardy.
Okay, so we've got 12 of the 16 people in the room. We're almost there, you guys. Cast your votes, because I'd like to get into the discussion. So cast your votes. I'm chomping at the bit here. Okay. I know, it's so hard for me to just not. It's terrible.
I wonder
Okay.
what will happen.
Oh, my brain's going to explode. Okay, we got 3 people left to vote. If you don't vote in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to close the poll. Okay,
2,
here we go.
1.
Okay, we're closing the poll. There we go. All right, and here are the results. And here are the books. Dun, dun, dun. So book number 1 was Carol Trembath's Out of Slavery. This is the story of Harriet Putnam, and this is so cool. Wow. Okay. Book number 2 was D.A. Deborah Reed and her book Nothing But Gutters and Pocket Change. I love this book for so many reasons, but we'll get into that in a minute. Especially, I love the cover. The cover is just so cool. Okay. Book number 3, Jennifer Wilcock wrote Exit Stage Right, which also caught my attention because I have a background in professional theater, so I got hooked immediately into this one. And then book number 4 was written by Kenneth Powers. He wrote In His Own Words. I read this book. This is a really spectacular opportunity for us to talk about things we don't normally talk about. So I'm super thrilled that Ken wrote this book. So now let's get into the questions here, because I'm all sorts of quadrupated with your creativity. Carol, I'd really like to ask you where you got the idea to write a story about Harriet Tubman. She's an iconic character. And although we do have a ton of information about her, I can't imagine making something up. How did you justify or rectify or combine the historical record we have with your imagination? How did you do that?
Okay, well, the first off is that as a classroom teacher and a media specialist, a librarian for 30 years, teachers always have to do continuing ed. So I went to a National Endowment for the Humanities project in Missouri. When I was there, I mean, we were talking about pre-Civil War. We were talking about, John Henry. Anyways, we were talking about all the pre-Civil War, all the stuff going on. But the instructor on a Thursday afternoon, we were at an archaeological dig, bust into it. He told a story that I had never heard before. And I was like, and I was so upset when he finished. I went in the bathroom And I cried and I cried and I cried and I couldn't come out. And I'm like, oh God, they're all getting on the bus. 40 educators are getting on the bus. Carol, you got to shut up and put your glasses on, put your head down, but you got to get on the bus and stop crying. And the story, what happened was, and it's known now, but they had the battle for Fort Wagner, and Harriet Tubman actually witnessed that battle. And Harriet Tubman served Colonel Robert Shaw his last meal. And I was like blown away. So when I came home, I thought, well, I'm not going to cry anymore. I cried all the way from St. Louis to Detroit. When I got home, I wrote Roses at the Race Course, which was chapter 9. Then learning that she had served the commander his last meal and he died in the battle. And they have huge events with him at the Smithsonian and in Boston. He was the first man to command the first authorized by Congress Black Regiment, the 54th Massachusetts. At any rate, when she served him his last supper, they were friends, they knew each other. And I was like blown away by the whole thing. And then I just started building on it. And then it was chapter 9, then it was chapter 5, and it all turned into a book.
That's
And
awesome.
I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I spent 3 to 4 years. I read every book there ever was about Harriet. So when I get to the point when it's in my head, the jargon, the feeling, the environment, and I went everywhere to gather Harriet's energy into me. I went to Auburn, New York. I went to South Carolina. I went to North Carolina. I went to Washington, D.C. Everywhere that Harry lived and worked, I went.
That is so cool. I'm so impressed with your ability to mix history and fiction that way. And that's what we're going to be talking about with Julianne and Xander in their workshop. But it's just fascinating to me. So I hope that you'll join us for that history workshop and lend your expertise as well. I think that would be awesome.
I even met her relatives.
Wow.
Yeah, all of them.
That you should write a book about writing the book. That would be cool. Jennifer, I'd like to know what inspired you to write about the ballet.
Well, I was a dancer and I studied dance for a number of years. And I just, I read, someone said once, write the book that you would want to read. And so as a kid and a teenager, there was never enough dance books. And so I wrote this during NaNoWriMo, and so I wanted something that I knew, and I knew dance, and so that's really why I wrote that one.
That's awesome. NaNoWriMo is an amazing platform to get people off on that first draft.
Yeah.
I find myself starting a new project every November, just so I can have something else to go to work on. It's awesome. Kenneth, can you tell me about the background of your story? Where did you get the idea to write about such an important topic for young people? I mean, this is a dual topic. This is stuttering and bullying, both which I think are very important for families to have that open discussion. Can you tell me about where you got the inspiration to do that?
I basically, on my own life, I've struggled with a speech impediment over the years. But I work hard to overcome it. I've also been bullied as a result, and also being a teacher in schools and seeing kids getting bullied and see how they feel, how it impacts them.
Wow, that's really amazing. You get to experience that from both ends as both an educator and as a student. So you get to see both sides of it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I've also been a foster parent too in the past. Main character as a foster child. Yeah, he deals with issues being in foster care and being adopted. So
sure.
I thought that was very important to share also.
Wow, that's awesome. Very cool. I think it's tremendously courageous of you to broach this subject and to bring it in a context that young people can really understand and enjoy. So good job. Deborah, this had to be just, how many times did you cry during writing this thing? I mean, this is so gut-wrenching. I can't imagine how you were able to bring this out on the page. What was that process like for you?
It was hard. I mean, especially as I was researching it, because when the idea first came, it ended up a conversation where someone looked at me and said, you should write about teenage homelessness. And I said, yeah, okay, in my head, thinking that's not really a thing. and had someone else turn around and say, yeah, that's a really big issue where I live. And I went, wait, this is legitimately a thing. And when I researched it, it just broke my heart realizing how much this really is a problem and how sheltered I was that I didn't even realize that this was a problem.
Sure.
And so, I mean, it was very difficult. I had lots of people ask me about it, and I said this was the most difficult one to date, aside from the one that I was
We're
talking
working
about.
on now.
Yeah, it would stay with me. It would affect my mood. Like if I was really into it, if I was thinking of something hard that was going to have to come next. Yeah.
Yeah. As you were reading tonight, I was thinking, I know you have children, teenagers, pre-teenagers, and my thought was, how can you write that and watch these kids growing up right next to you at the same time? Did you have these conversations with your children while you were writing the book?
Yep, actually, because my kids are pre-teenage. I mean, they're almost 9 and 10 years old. And my daughter especially continually asks, what are you writing? What are you writing? What is it about? Why are you writing about that? And so we do have some pretty tough conversations. And like I said, the next one is dealing with depression and suicide. And she was asking about that. And I'm like, no, you need to know about this because you're entering the age where not only is she going to be probably struggling with emotions herself, but so are her friends.
Sure, that exposure is really important to have that conversation. Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. Super cool readings, everybody. I'm so glad.
Very awesome.
I'm like over the moon excited that we get to make our community bigger and share all of you with our 600 plus people in our group, and hopefully they will share it with 600 others. So I'm really excited that you guys were here tonight. I'm very, very grateful. Before we get to the spinny wheel of happiness, I would really like Deborah to read her winning piece tonight for our first flash fiction competition, just so that you all know where this came from. Here is this is the prompt. The prompt was, you have to start with your opening story with this line. Half the names on the list had already been crossed off. We had 9 people submit stories, and we narrowed them down to 5, and then the Facebook group members voted on who they wanted to win. And Deborah, you won our prize. I'm so excited. I'm
excited because I get Mark's book.
I'm a little creeped out by your story, but I'm really excited that you won. So before you get into the reading, I just want to show you, this was the prize. It was donated by Mark Bello. This is Betrayal in Blue, one of his legal thrillers, and really a great series. If you haven't read them yet, you really should. These are great books. So Deborah, would you please read us. Now, keep in mind, guys, this was a prompt, and there were 250 words maximum. I can't do this. I'm so glad I was ineligible because I struggle with short form. Deborah does it really well. Can you read for us, please?
Half the names on the list had already been crossed off. The rest? The rest. I always left the sweetest for last. It was more satisfying when they were young, when their innocence created a veil between their mind and the harsh truth staring them in the face. They did not realize yet that I was something most humans feared. It made the horror of realization that much more rewarding. Abigail, I whispered, stroking her cheek with one long talon, my robe trailing along her thin arm. The child stirred, face flushed with sleep. Her countenance contained nothing but purity as she woke slowly. It's time to come home, Abigail. With the innocence only a child can possess, she put her small hand in mine. Who are you? She asked, rousing just enough to realize I was not her mother, nor her father. Someone to whom you belong, I said reassuringly. But what do I call you? She asked, bare feet padding softly along the floor. I remained silent. Does my mommy know you're here? Not yet, Abigail, but she will soon. What do I call you? She became more insistent, her hand tightening in mine. Already it was fading away, the purity I craved. I ushered her into my world, the sweet scent of innocence fading. As the veil dissolved and Abigail looked full in my face. You may call me Death, my child.
I just got goosebumps. Crazy, crazy.
I love it. And Diana, next time, I didn't want to win. You should have written one too. We all should have written one because Deborah, you're going to love the book. It's a really good book. I have it, but you know, everybody should write one just as a personal challenge.
Yeah, I agree. I should have written it just because you should always take the challenges that you throw down. So I'm going to do one for the next one. I made the next one. Let me show you guys what it is. Congratulations, Deborah. That was just super creepy and weird and really good. So yeah, it was really good. So our next flash fiction competition is this. The entrance to the tunnel was the only way out. Start your story with that. I'm giving you more time. You get 9 days. And it has to be 350 words or fewer. When I realized that I probably should have taken the challenge myself, seeing as how I created it, I decided to give myself a bigger word count. So we have 350 words on the second one. I don't do short form. Okay. So anybody who wants to submit, you feel free to submit. It's going to be awesome. Let me show you the screen one more time so I can tell you about the prizes for the next one. You're going to get 3 books for this second one. You're going to get a copy of Scott Rutherford's Danny's Inferno, and that includes a direct download for one of the songs included in the book. You're going to get Carol Trembath's Out of Slavery, which we heard her read from tonight, which is an awesome story. And you're also going to get Andy Lockwood's At Calendar's End. This is an adult coloring book. This is not for children. This is an adult coloring book. And the reason we say it's an adult coloring book is not so much for content, but because the spaces are really itty bitty tiny and you got to keep in the lines and you got to have patience to do it. So that's why we're calling it an adult coloring book. So thank you to everybody who read again tonight. This was so awesome. Yes, Scott Rutherford's book is in English, he promises. This was really, really fun. Thank you everybody for reading. We're going to get to the spinning wheel of happiness. What do you say, folks? Give away some books? I'm up for this. Okay, here we go. Andrew, would you mind giving us Moroccan sound effects?
I will give you as soon as you give us the spinning wheel. Right now we have puppies looking at us.
See your cute puppies.
Hi, puppies.
You can see the puppies? Oh,
Yeah.
those puppies. Oh, you want to see that? There we go. Can Diana pick the right thing? Those were my dogs, Charlie and Finnegan. And they like to sleep on each other for some reason. I don't know why. Now do you see the spinning wheel?
I do now.
Yay! Technology is a thing. Okay.
Hey, Julie, you won. Yay!
All right, here we go. Here we go. Spinning the wheel of happiness.
Oh, this is too quick.
Dave Kilgore, you want another book? I think this is Dave's 3rd or 4th win. I've lost track now. But Dave is going to get a copy of Jennifer Wilcock's Astounding, Amazing Exit Stage Right. I love this cover because it's like all sparkly. It's got purpley sparkly. It's really cool. Very cool book. Thank you, Julie, for donating that. I'm sorry, Jennifer, for donating. Thank you very much. See, Julie, Andrew, don't say people's names. I repeat them.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay.
Deborah.
Deborah can't win. She was reading tonight. Okay, here we go. Spinning wheel number 2. Joan Young. Yay! See, Joan, you do win stuff. You didn't think you won stuff. You do. You get a copy of In His Own Words from Kenneth Powers Jr. Yay! You're going to love this book. Great book. Okay. onward and upward, the next spinny wheel of happiness. Make it happy, Andrew.
Happy?
Happy.
Because I'm happy.
Oh my God.
You got to show the wheel first.
The wheel, what? It didn't, the wheel didn't, it didn't?
No, you were just showing me. Nobody
Oh,
wants
this,
to see me. They
gosh,
want
I
to see
got
the
the,
wheel.
oh my gosh. Okay, let me try this again. Ready?
Ready.
Let's do it now. There we go. I'm tired, guys. This technology thing. I don't know if I'm going to make the Instagram thing tonight.
Yes, you are.
Eric Bean, yay! You won a book, Eric. You won the awesome Deborah Reed's book, Nothing But Gutters and Pocket Change.
You'll love it.
You're going to love it. It's awesome. It'll make you cry. Get tissues. Keep a box of tissues nearby. Okay, and the last spinny wheel of happiness. Let me see if I can get the right screen this time. There we go. We're going to spin the spinny wheel. Here we go.
Just spin the wheel, make it go round and stop on Gary. Oh no, Ian.
Ian, yay, Ian, you won a book. Awesome.
Didn't last second one.
Good job, Ian. You get Carol Trimbath's Out of Slavery. This is really cool. It's a hardcover book, guys. This is like a serious awesome. This is like should be a textbook in every classroom. This is exceptional work. Thank you very much, everybody, for sticking around for the Spinning Wheel of Happiness. I bet you want to know how you get your Spinning Wheel books. Well, here's how you get your Spinning Wheel books. You do this. There we go. Send me an email to my email address at diana@pagespromotions.com. Put your mailing address in it. Send it to me before midnight tonight, and I will send you your book. Now, if you get a book from one of our Spinny Wheels of Happiness this month, check inside it. You might find one of our 3 bonus prizes. Bonus prize number 1 is the golden ticket, which is a Kindle Fire 7 tablet. This is the ad-free version of the tablet, so it's super snazzy. Silver ticket is our Blood in the Rain prize box donated by author Jacob Bolin. He is donating 2 copies of his Blood in the Rain series and this really, really snazzy hooded sweatshirt. It's got this great art on the back. It's phenomenal. And it's super like cozy and warm on the inside. You're gonna love it. Okay. Our bronze ticket is donated by our very own Andrew Smith, and it's an entire set of the Masterson Files novel series. And this is 5 books. Count them. 5 books in the Masterson Files. And then you also get this really cool, as Andrew's showing you, this nifty mug with the sippy top lid so you can't spill stuff all over your lap. And then it's made out of aluminum. It's like heavy duty. It's cool. And then you also get a canvas tote bag to carry it all in. So super cool. Those are the winning extra snazzy things we got going on. But wait, there's more, because we're just wacky with prizes over here. And I have some very, very, very generous people in my life. Kate, tell us about the gauntlet you threw down the other night.
Well, this is the way that I was thinking. If you were to open up this book and you found a ticket in there, I would sincerely hope your reaction would be to sing the song from the original, because we don't acknowledge the more recent one.
No, we don't.
About I've got a golden ticket. So if you open up and you get, we're doing like all 3, right? Not just the golden one, golden, silver, and bronze. Record yourself. I'm really definitely those of you theater people, artistic people, get some props, get somebody to record you doing it and sing your heart out. And then we're going to basically, we keep adding things to it, but you're going to get this. Well, because everybody wants to get in on this. So we're just adding more and more and more books to this monster pot of
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Monster Super Bonus Prize Box, if you, now remember, you have to sing at least 30 seconds of this song and stick it on our Facebook page. And if you're courageous and brave and super daring and you want to do that, if you get one of the tickets, you will get my entire catalog of books, which are 9 books in 9 different genres. You will get your choice of one of Kate's books, and you will get your choice of a book from Jordan Scavone. He writes astounding children's and young adult books. So there you have it. It's 11 books in 10 genres awarded to 3 creatively courageous human beings. It's going to be fun. Andrew?
Can I sing it for them?
Sure.
No, I guess not.
Of course.
Oh, just so everybody knows what the song is. If for some reason somebody doesn't know what the song
everybody
is,
knows
go
the
for it.
song,
Go for it.
No, I was going to say, if they win, I'll sing the song for them. No?
Oh,
no. We love you, Andrew. We love you, Andrew, but people got to work for this prize box. This is some serious stuff we're giving away. So you
I
gotta
don't
work.
sing, and I would even sing for that.
You would even sing for it? Will you sing with me? Because I've got a golden ticket. I've got a golden twinkle in my eye.
You don't want to hear me singing unless there really is no other choice.
No auto-tune allowed. Nobody's allowed to use auto-tune. We need authenticity.
So there you have it. We're giving away just stupid amounts of prizes. We've got a trivia contest that we're giving away a huge prize box for. We're giving away prizes left, right, and sideways. It's insane. You don't want to miss the second half of February because we're just going to have a blast. So the last thing I want to remind you guys of tonight before I let you go, we're doing it again in June, you guys. I'm just insane. My husband wants to lock me up with one of those where you hug yourself. So we're doing it again in June. We're going to do the Summer Reading Regatta. It's a harbor full of books waiting to be discovered. I checked my email today. I just announced this thing at 2:00 this afternoon, and I have 9 authors signed up already. This thing could fill pretty quickly, so you might want to get in on it. The early bird rate is $25 for authors. Last minute rate is $50, and the registration deadline is May 15th, and we're going to do it through the whole month. Hey, Deborah, who was that? Who was that?
That was my daughter, Emma.
Hi, Emma. Come back and say hello.
Hi.
Hello, Emma. How you doing?
So glad you're here with us tonight. So awesome. So, Deborah, if you win, you and Emma can sing together.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. See?
Anything to cover me up.
Yeah, we can make it a family event. There's enough books in there to keep everybody happy. All right. We have had tons of fun. It is 8:00. Kate and I are going to jump over to Instagram and do a wacky live Instagram thing just because, I'm into self-care. And we're going to talk about the new festival that's coming up, and we're going to talk about our community, and we're just going to take Q&A from the world and let everybody just have an opportunity to pick my brain and Kate's brain for a little bit. So if you'd like to join us over on Instagram, you can find Kate at @quenched books. You can find her there. Just push on the little, hey, we're live button at the top. Kate's going to take me about 2 minutes to hook up to my tablet, and then I'll be on there with you. Everybody, thank you. Jennifer, Carol, Deborah, Ken, thank you so much for being here tonight. I am just so grateful that everybody's here. And come on back tomorrow for our poetry workshop. That's going to be a blast and not nearly as much me talking. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Bye.